Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We have got another update from Fabrizio Romano about Varane. If you didn't check out the interview a few hours ago, do check it out. Really good interview with Fabrizio Romano. But he did say on that show he was expecting an update on Varane in the next few hours. He's now provided that update, which is basically official talks with Real Madrid for Manchester United, which is a development on that story. We'll also be I've got a really great thing to show you. I'm just going to give you a little glimpse. Oh, here it is. We'll be going on that a little bit later. This is really interesting on how many senior players we've got at Manchester United and what massive problems we've got. We'll also talk about Lingard. Apparently United have offered him a new contract and he's going to make his decision in 2 weeks. Are you happy about that or not? Should he be moving on? But also as well, Sancho has passed his medical. Kariki, I've got something really excited to tell you. Sanchi has passed his medical and he's going to be getting the number 70 Kariki tomorrow. Can't waity. See you in training tomorrow. So Sancho has passed his medical today. We don't expect it to be announced tonight. But we do expect it to be announced tomorrow. We do expect it to be the number 7 shirt as well. Now, I can't 100% say he's getting the number 7, but I've been told he's getting the number 7 shirt. There is a big noise around this deal. United are very excited around this deal, and as Romano said last week, they've got big things planned and they don't want them big things to be ruined by the fact that he's not going to wear the number 7 shirt. Think Alexis Sanchez. Well, they actually don't think Alexis Sanchez. Burn the piano! Get rid of the piano! But Alexis Sanchez was a number 7. Jadon Sancho is expected to be our number 7 tomorrow. So look, don't shoot the messenger on that. If you, maybe it's all a smokescreen, but Jadon Sancho, number 7, announced as a Manchester United player tomorrow, is what we're being told. It could get put back to the shirt on Thursday. It would make sense for that, but tomorrow is being spoken about. Number 7 shirt. So let's see what happens with Varane on that. Daddy Goldbridge, says Milo. Thank you very much. So let me just reveal what Fabrizio has said about Manchester United in the last hour or so. This is on his Twitter, so you can read it on Twitter if you want to. Let me just get it up. That's what she said. Let's have a look. So yes, Manchester United are now back in direct contact with Real Madrid. So direct contact. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. They're back in direct contract with Real Madrid with negotiations for negotiations with Rafael Varane after opening talks with them a few weeks ago. Negotiations on personal terms are not an issue. Manchester United have confirmed their intention to sign Varane to Real Madrid. An official bid will come in once Real Madrid let Manchester United know what their final position is. And their final position is in relation to value. So this is getting, I'm just going to say it, 90% club. Sod it. Live by the sword, die by the sword. 90% club, Varane, Manchester United. Pump it up. You've got to pump it up. I think, I don't know. Look, go back and watch the Varane interview. If you've not, go and watch my interview with Varane. He basically said he's coming in French. Oui. I said, are you coming to Manchester United? He said, oui. Oui. Je m'appelle Raphaël. Je voudrais uno glace mineral. Quel âge as-tu? I'm Mark Goldbridge. He said, Romano said, I'm pumped up tonight. Romano said that, the interview I did with Romano, I'm very good at reading people, and I just got a lot of positivity from Romano. I don't think Fabrizio is ever going to be that person that comes out and says, it's 90% club, here we go. But I just detected a lot of positivity around Varane. And he did say a few times that, well, just go and watch the interview yourself after this. Make your own minds up. But for me, I feel that without saying it, I think Romano basically said that Varane is coming to Manchester United and that Varane wants to come to Manchester United. 7 was too much for Depay, but Sancho is different gravy. At least we signed him before Arsenal signed Draxler. Hope you and your family are doing well. Mark says Anish, and you as well. Want to get into some of your questions tonight, actually. Will he not have told United he wants to join if they're back in direct contact after a 2-week wait, says Ben Sayers. So yeah, this is a big update from Fabrizio. Check out the interview I did with him, but he has and did say on that interview that he was expecting an update in the next few hours. He's now tweeted that update out, that Manchester United are now back in talks with Real Madrid after initial talks a few weeks ago. They've now re-entered the room, so official talks are ongoing now with Manchester United and Real Madrid, and Manchester United are waiting for Real Madrid's final decision. That is to do with the price. That is not to do with They're still trying to convince Varane. The stance at the moment is Varane wants to go. United are back in official talks with Madrid, and Manchester United want to know what the fee is, and then they're going to put a bid in. This is 90% club. This is exciting. If people pick up on it, that's up to them. But for me, who's been following this deal, been following the Spanish report, spoken to Fabrizio, spoken to other people, where we are now with Varane is that Varane is wanting to come to United. United are now going into talks with Madrid, and United want to know what the prices Madrid want. And when they tell United the price, United will put a bid in. We are getting towards the end. And I tell you what, before we talk about anything else, can I just say this? I'll say what I said before. If United get Varane, I'll applaud it. If United get Varane, it's more impactful on this summer transfer window than Sancho, because Sancho's a deal we should have done last summer, and I think Sancho can be a better signing and a better player than Varane, but going and getting one of the world's best centre-backs when we need a centre-back can only be applauded. And I can only applaud the fact that we've gone and got a first-choice signing. I can't remember the last time we went and got a first-choice signing, and this summer we're going to get two. It's a year late with Sancho, but he is a first-choice signing. If we get Varane, which is looking very likely now, you cannot, in my opinion, argue that Ollie's been given what he wanted. And that's all I ever wanted. I wanted it with Mourinho, with Van Gaal and Ollie. I want them, as Manchester United manager, to be delivered the tools to do the task. I think if we can get Varane and we can keep Pogba and we go into next season, I still think we need a CDM, but I would sit here and say, if he doesn't get us into a title race, he's got to go. Now, I don't know whether the club will do that, and I think Ollie would sit there and say, yeah, I accept that. Garaghi, I accept it. We got to go. Because you give them what they need. You know, look at Maguire, look at Luke Shaw. You know, we've got Pogba, Bruno, Cavani, Rashford, Sancho, Varane comes in. Wan-Bissaka's a very good right back. Depth of talent. We've got to go and do it. So it's very exciting. Will he not have told United he wants to join if they're back in direct contact after 2 weeks? That's what Ben says. Mark, that was GCSE French circa 1998. I failed it too. Don't worry. I did rubbish in languages. If we sign Varane and Sancho, I'm 100% sure Pogba will stay. That's why it's slowed down with Camavinga, because they must have an inkling on Varane, says Sean Turner. I still think we need a centre defensive midfielder. But it's exciting just the moment as well, because we're playing Derby at the weekend, and Derby, I couldn't give two hoots about Derby. That's not what I'm worried about. But what I do want to say is that United will be missing a lot of key players for that game, and we will see Garner play. We'll see Sharatire play. We will see a lot of young players playing. So that'll be quite interesting. On top of that, Greenwood will play. Be interesting to see Greenwood. Wan-Bissaka will play. I'd imagine Twansebi will play. Mata will play. So, I'm looking forward to those games, and I'm looking forward to seeing what some of the younger lads do, because Ollie spoke today about loan deals. Do you think there's something special is getting Varane by the end of the week and announcing him and Sancho together? This is Mark Dobby. No chance. Mark Dobby, you got no chance. That's what you got. You got no chance. That's what you got. No chance. That's what you got. You got no chance. No chance. You got no chance, actually, Mark Dobby. There's absolutely no chance that Rafael Varane is being announced as a double signing with Jadon Sancho on Thursday. Absolutely not. No way. Jim White, breaking news. Mark Dobby's a prat. No way. Absolutely no chance. We're not doing it that quick. No way. We can't do that deal that quick. I think Varane will do what happens. Varane, for me, I think will sign for United by the end of July. I think we'll have 2 or 3 weeks of this yet, where we're talking about Varane every bloody day. Of course, that's what has to happen with Manchester United. But we'll come back to that Varane thing in a minute. Sancho expected to get the number 7. Official talks with Varane. But what I was going to talk about tonight is there is a website for West Ham. There's a West Ham website. Any old iron. Any old iron. You look sweet. Talk about a treat. You look dapper from your back to your feet. Dressed in, let's have a look. Let's have enough of the Cockney rhyming slang. Skin and blister, up the old apple and pears. What was I going to say? Losing the plot here. Lost what I was even going to talk about. That's not where I'm meant to be. Where's my notes for tonight? I can't find them. How bloody embarrassing is that? Where did I write it down? Oh, yeah. Clareton Hugh, a website. Clareton Hugh are saying that Manchester United, West Ham have put a 2-week deadline on Jesse Lingard, because No, Manchester United have put a 2-week deadline on Jesse Lingard to make his mind up. West Ham want him. A few other clubs want him. And Manchester United have said to Jesse Lingard, you've got 2 weeks to make your mind up because we need to move on to other things. The story being that Manchester United have actually offered Jesse Lingard a new contract, and that Jesse Lingard is thinking it through and has got 2 weeks to decide. I'm sorry, if this is true, I'm out. I'm out. Jim White, I'm out. I mean, look, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. Mark, I'd love to be in the 90% club with you, but the club have form. Can't help but be cynical, says Andy and Bruno. I get that. Hi, Mark. You've helped me through really tough times during lockdown and even before, so I hope you're doing well, says Jack. Thank you very much. I'm doing good tonight. I think we're progressing with this Varane deal. But Jesse Lingard, please say no, says Advath. I hope Lingard does say no, Advath. But you know what? It doesn't escape the problem. Manchester United have offered the deal. If Lingard takes it, that's his right. And if he wants to take it, that's up to him. I think a lot of us would say to Jesse, don't take the contract. You won't be a first team player at United. You'll be a bench player again. You'll be frustrated and you'll blow any chance of going to the World Cup. Go to West Ham. Go to Leicester. Go somewhere where you're going to be the star and you're going to play every week and you're going to win Premier League Player of the Month and you're going to get in the England squad. At Man United, you're not getting in the team, Jesse. You're not getting in the team, man. You're not. So I hope Lingard does what's best for his career and goes and does what Nicky Butt did in his late 20s and Phil Neville did in his late 20s. Go to clubs in the Premier League where you're a first team player and you're one of their best players and you play every week. Because Lingard won't get that at United. So I hope Lingard does what's best for his career, because I think I loved Lingard at West Ham last year and I enjoyed watching him. Far better than seeing him doing little bits for United, never getting picked. But the disappointment thing is, if it is true, and it's an if that is true, it's on United again. It's on United again, offering contracts. Now, people are going to be saying, I don't really care, Mark. We've got Sancho, we've got Varane. I'm going to show you something that should make you care. Grant Hector, thanks for joining the members club. Really appreciate that. I'm about to show you something now that's going to really make you care. Look, that team there is United's team if we buy Varane. So you've got De Gea or Henderson in goal. It doesn't matter. I haven't got a Henderson shield, so pretend it's Henderson if you want. Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, McTominay and Pogba, Bruno, Sancho, Rashford, Cavani, right? And it could be Fred, or we could buy Camavinga. Look. These are not young players. I've put none of the young players there. No Diallo, no Shoretire, no Williams. I haven't put any of those players there. I've just gone off senior squads. You've got Greenwood, James, Martial, Lingard, Mata, Pereira, Van der Beek, Fred, Matic, Bailly, Jones, Lindelof, Twansebi, Tellez and Delo. 26, if you count, I think I've got it right, 26 senior players. No, not young players. 26 senior players. If you add Dean Henderson to there. 26 senior players without young players. That is unbelievable amount of senior players. Ollie said today he's going to loan young players out. Look, he better be loaning out Brandon Williams and Garner and people like that, because we've got 26 senior players. Why are we giving contracts to people who are not first teamers? What are we doing? I don't get it. And look around the edge of that bench as well. The first team's okay. You understand McTominay and Fred being options, but that is just ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount. And I might have missed somebody here, but that is a ridiculous amount of options. And not good options as well. So why are we giving contracts to Juan Mata and Jesse Lingard and keeping Matic? And all right, Pereira's probably going to go on loan again. We'll probably loan Delo, but if Delo goes, you still need a backup right back. So you bring Trippier in, you're back up to 25. Anish says, I started sending super chats because I got my first job and I graduated with physics. You and the United stand was a big part of the journey. Thank you always, says Anish. Thank you very much. Let me just catch up on those. Hi Mark, things in South Africa are proper bad right now, but the shows are helping just a bit. We're stuck at home in areas that are blockaded and loads of looting, rioting, bullets, but to US Army, says AJ Singh. Stay safe, mate, and prayers for people in South Africa. Please do stay safe. And welcome to the members club, Karen Katvakar. But my mic is low on this scene, apparently. Okay, let me have a look. I don't know why that would be. Shouldn't be low. It shouldn't change. Don't know why. But, you know, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Lingard being offered a new contract for Manchester United. But just have a look at that for a moment. That's our senior squad as of today. With Varane and Sancho, 26 players. Dean Henderson's not there, like I've said, but that would be 26. What are we doing? What is it we're doing? Does Murta and Fletcher and Ollie and Karaki and everyone else know that we've got that many first team players? How are you getting into the United team if you are Amad Diallo or any young player this season? How are you going to break in when we've got that many players? And you know the thing that worries me about that? We're only a potential title-winning side because we've got Sancho and Varane. That most of those players on the bench just ain't good enough, and yet we're carrying them on average. Most of those players will be on between £50,000 and £100,000 a week. I would dare. I don't actually add up all those bench players' salary. It would terrify me. Mike, I sell 7 of these players sitting on the edge of the pitch. Those need to be sold or given a free transfer as they no good for the first team, says Chris Pankhurst. Mark, in terms of squad rotation, who do you think replaces Bruno in the 10 role? And Paras and Peter Fay, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. And you know why we've got all these players? Because we reward average players with big contracts and no other teams would go anywhere near them, says Sean Turner. And that's right. But look, for me, that's your team, right? So you got Mason Green. Sorry, don't move me. Don't move me. Let me just lock myself in. So for me, you need a squad of 22 players, right? And then you need to give youth players. So for me, why is that not moving? This is a joke. What's going on? So Greenwood is a player I want to use there. Martial is a player I would use somewhere around here. Diallo I would use there, but I haven't got Diallo, so I can't use that. Van der Beek is obviously the backup for Bruno. You've got Fred as the backup for him. Teles is the backup for Shaw. Delo, I don't mind being the backup for Wan-Bissaka. Lindelof is a backup centre-back. I'd have Twansebi as a backup centre-back. Pereira's got to go. I wouldn't have kept Mata. And I suppose you'd keep Matic and Henderson. But that's still 22 players. So Jones needs to go. Bailly needs to go. Pereira needs to go. Mata needs to go, but he's staying. And Lingard needs to go. Because so I'd have Ahmad as the right-hand side player. That's 22 players on that pitch. We've got too many senior players at the end of the day. Too many senior players. And can I just say, why would you offer Jesse Lingard a new contract? Where's Lingard going to go? The backup right winger for Sancho? The backup number 10 when you've got Van der Beek? I just don't see. Maybe it means this guy. Maybe it means Van der Beek's off as well. I don't know. Maybe this guy's going. And Lingard's coming in as the replacement. And we're not going to buy a midfielder, which I think makes us weaker. It worries me. It worries me that if we're going to give Jesse Lingard a new contract, how are we even going to use him, you know? Same situation as Lampard, who was not utilising players, and look at Tuchel optimally using most of the players. We need a good coach, and Ollie's not good enough when it comes to team rotation. Well, he needs to be bloody rotating with that many players, doesn't he? I'm excited, Mark. When was the last time we had a good summer like this? People can't say Ollie can't attract top talent, says Philip Burtonwood. Mark, with 26 to 27 first-team players, we are going to waste around £40 million this year in wages on around 7 players we could potentially sell, says Akshay. Shaw, Stone, Sterling have all had comeback season last year. Trust Phil Jonesy at his peak, says Mile. Luke Shaw has not had a comeback season. I don't know what people have been doing for the last 3 years, but Luke Shaw's been a fantastic player for us for the last 3 years. So I'm not having that. I'm not having that at all. That's a nonsense. And you're talking nonsense about Phil Jones as well. You're talking nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. You know? You're talking out your ass. So you are. Remember, Bay also extended his contract, says Atty. Well, you know what? The thing is, for me, I think when you have an opinion on football, and we've seen this in the last 24 hours, don't make it about being abusive. That's not the way any opinion should be brought about. Opinions should be about, based on football. And when I look at that United squad, which I was just looking at there, and I can show it you again if you want, Eric Bailly should not have got a new contract. We don't need him. Phil Jones should never have got a contract. Obviously, I want Paul Pogba there, so put him in there. Pereira needs to be sold. Mata, I wouldn't have given a new contract to. Lingard, I wouldn't have given a new contract to. And this is what... I mean, I need to make this full screen just so I can see myself here. So you got Pogba, right? You've got 6 midfielders. You've got Bruno, Pogba, Van der Beek, Matic, Fred, McTominay. Whatever you think about it, you've got six players for 3 positions. You've got a front 6. I haven't got a Diallo shield, but you'd have Diallo, Ahmad, Cavani, Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, right? 2 left-backs, 2 right-backs, and 4 centre-backs, 2 goalkeepers. Don't need Eric Bailly. Don't need Phil Jones. Don't need Pereira. Don't need Mata. Don't need Lingard. But the fact that Mata is staying, where's he getting game time? Where is Juan Mata going to get any game time that's going to be better than those players that we've already got? Is he going to get game time over Van der Beek? Is he going to get game time over Amad Diallo? Well, I don't agree with that. And as I said, Eric Bailly. Why do we need Eric Bailly then? Oh, because Twan Sebi's going to go out on loan, which I think is a mistake. So I don't understand United's recruitment. I don't understand why we hand out new contracts. And look, whether it's all about a personal opinion, isn't it? I think Lingard's better off going for his own career. But if we're honest about it, I would have sold Bailly and kept Twan Sebi. I would have got rid of Mata and used Diallo, and I would have sold Lingard because we don't need him. But it's not about individual players for me. This is about a consistent. Look, recruitment, I've just said, if we get Varane, and it looks like we're going to get Varane, official talks, looks very, very close now, in the sense that it's getting close to the deal being done. But I absolutely cannot understand why we are so bad at removing players from the club. Looks like we're going to have a good summer at bringing players in, but looks like we're going to have a bloody shambles at players coming out. Not for this evening's show, but something should be said about the shambles the ladies' side is in. No manager facilities in, losing player after player, says Seb Watson. I still think the club's a joke. Oh, you know what? We've spent a bit of money on Sancho and Varane, so everything's okay. What would you do? What would you do? If you're in charge of Manchester United, you've done a shit job, people are breaking into the ground, they're protesting outside, what would you do this summer? Would you let that build when you've got new brands and new shirts to sell? Or would you go and buy a few players because you know that'll pull the wool over everybody's eyes? They're doing what everyone predicted they would do. You can't moan about that because the players that they're bringing in are good. But let's not pretend that everything's going to be fine. For me, even if we get Camavinga, keep Pogba, get Varane and get Sancho, I would still say, let's see what they do next summer. Because I guarantee you they won't replicate it. I think this summer is about appeasing angry fans. And it will work. And look, I'm happy if we get Varane. But I don't think, will they fix the stadium? Will they give shares to fans? Will they sort out the issues with the women's team? Have they sorted out removal of the deadwood? No. How does a player like Camavinga get in this team? Would be another Van der Beek, says Paras. Tracy Taylor, welcome to the members club. And hey, Mark, there is more deadwood there than a little. God help the young players trying to get in. Well, I think that's the big thing, Stephen Atkinson. You tell me, amongst all those players we've got on there, don't forget Dan James. Somebody says, don't forget Dan James. You've been covering him up. I forgot about Dan James as well. There's another one. There's a bloody another one hiding behind my shoulder. I forgot Dan James is there. Where does he get in? Is Dan James going to be there so we have to loan Diallo out? Oh my God, there's another one. There's another one. How many players have we bloody well got? And how is a young player getting in there? 26 senior pros at the club. How is a young player? Joe Hugel, Charlie McNeil, Shola Shuratire, Hannibal Mabry, Jimmy Garner. You boys are going to take one hell of a beating this season because you ain't getting a look in. How are you going to get a look in? Where are you going to get a game? Carabao Cup? You got no chance because Carabao Cup he's going to have to pick Fred and Mata and Martial and Lindelof and Bailly. There ain't no way a young player's getting in, is there? That is a massive amount of players. Nobody wants to look at it. People want to ignore it. It's bad. It's proper bad. Hey Mark, is Varane's news something that the Glazers are deflecting from the Glazer out movement, or are we really getting him? Similar things have happened in the past. No, I think we are trying to get Varane because I think they know they can't just get away with good news stories anymore, can they? They've got to go and do it. But look, go back to what Romano said tonight. What did Romano say tonight on United Stand? Jim White, United Stands, breaking news. Fabrizio Romano said tonight. He said nothing on De Gea. Nothing from Italy, nothing from Spain, nothing from the Premier League. he expects David De Gea to be at the club next season with Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson said today on TalkSport, I was exhausted by the time it got to the end of the season and I got my chance because I'd worked so hard to get there. And then, I sort of was exhausted, I got injured and it affected me. This is not a good thing, but it's just another example, isn't it? We can go through all those players that we don't think should be there and we can talk about an overbloated squad. We've got two world-class, we've got two top goalkeepers. And regardless of whether Ollie goes, Hendo, you're my number one, you've still got David De Gea sat there every week with Sky and BT putting the cameras on him going, he's on 350 grand a week and he can't get a kick. What would you do if you were David De Gea? Tell you what, I'll go and play for Sevilla for 50 grand a week. Write it off. No, he's going to take his money, isn't he? But it's another example of not being able to move players on. It's another example of not being ruthless, and it's another example of poor business. Look, maybe Ollie has said sell Henderson. Maybe he said sell De Gea. Maybe the club said we can't do it. You're stuck with two goalkeepers again. Disruptive. Do you think we choked last season, says Rohit? I think we overachieved in the league. I don't think we choked. I think we overachieved in the league. I think we choked in the Villarreal game. Okay, Mark, then the question is, why are clubs not coming in for a team that finished second, says Stephen Atkinson? The reason I think nobody will go in for a Dan James or an Andres Pereira or a Juan Mata or a Nemanja Matic or an Eric Bailly or anyone like that is because if you look at last season, we don't use our squad. The only player that's really at a premium is Jesse, because Jesse went on loan and was a really good player net last season. Everybody else hasn't really had game time. Does Ollie use wash and go, says Milo? Well, I wish he bloody did. Could sprinkle it on some of his senior squad bench players, give them a wash and they can go. Keep one, sell one, James or Lingard, says David Page. Easy, Lingard. But I think both need to go. I think the squad's is bloated. Gabriel Noel says Ollie could potentially ruin Hendo's career this season because if he doesn't perform, I expect fans to chew him out and then De Gea is back at starter. The goalkeeping situation is such a difficult one. It really is. Because imagine if you sold De Gea and then Henderson makes mistakes and everyone goes, Ollie's a Wally, what's he done? Imagine if he keeps them both and Henderson buckles under the pressure and De Gea comes in and then De Gea comes in, makes a mistake and then Henderson comes in. I said it at the end of last season. I didn't like the media relentless nature of going for Henderson, and there are certain journalists that are just obsessed with Henderson. I think you've always got to be pragmatic. I am not convinced by Henderson that he should take De Gea's position yet, but if Ollie is, you've got to make that choice and remove the other one. What did Ben Foster say when he was on the show a few weeks ago? He said, as a goalkeeper, you've got to be number one and you've got to look at the bench and know you're number one. And the only way you do that is by looking at the bench and seeing a goalkeeper who's a backup goalkeeper. If I look at the bench and I see, and I'm putting words into Ben Foster's mouth now, so I'm going to stop quoting him. But basically what Ben Foster was saying is if he's Ben Foster in goal for Watford this season and he looks at the bench and he sees a goalkeeper like Nick Pope or Jordan Pickford on the bench, he knows that those goalkeepers are first team goalkeepers and he's under pressure. And he doesn't need that because goalkeepers need to be focused and goalkeepers need to be confident and they need to know they've got the confidence of their manager. So if David De Gea is in goal next season and he looks at the bench and there's Dean Henderson, it's an added pressure he doesn't need. But if he looks at that bench and he sees Tom Heaton, he's like, well, look, he ain't never been number one unless I have 5 or 6 bad games. And that's the way it should be. If you think about Alisson last season for Liverpool, he made a few big errors in a few games in a row, yet he was kept in goal. If you do that at United now, you know you're going to lose your place because everyone's going to demand it. The press, the fans. As a goalkeeper, you've got to look at the bench and see the reserve goalkeeper is a reserve goalkeeper. You can't be looking at them and going, they're on over 100 grand a week, Mark, watching AFT was hilarious when Arsenal lose to a Scottish Sunday League team. They even prefer White over Varane. I can't deal, says Tariq. Mid-table matters, Tariq. We don't need to talk about Arsenal. Sorry, I'll never forgive Ollie for what's happened to De Gea. Same way I'll never forget what the organisation did with Ander Herrera, says Mario. Let's get into some of your questions, by the way. I feel I've started this show off quite energetic and I've almost exhausted myself. Help me, man, help me. I'm getting a bit tired. That's not like me. Arnish says, complacency can set in, right? You always have to know that it's possible you might lose your spot, even if you're a goalkeeper. Same for everyone. Completely disagree, Arnish. Completely disagree. I think with goalkeepers, they need to know they're number one. And I've spoken to people, I mean, Ben Foster said it, I've spoken to people about this. You know, goalkeepers are different. I think as a striker, you need that competition. You need to know if you miss your chance, someone on the bench is going to take your place. It keeps you on your toes. As a goalkeeper, it's totally different. You know, you need confidence as a goalkeeper, and you need to know that you've got the backing of your team and your manager if you make a mistake. And that is why Chelsea don't have, don't go and buy the world's two best goalkeepers. It's why Pep Guardiola doesn't do it, because you need to have a number one. And United have made a big mistake last year, and I think they might be looking like they're going to do it again. This is more of a long-term question, but considering the time we take with attracting talent, who do you think replaces Cavani? Kane's going to City and Haaland's going to Chelsea, says Paras. Well, I'll go back to what I said. It's a good question. I'll go back to what I said a few months ago. Why can Mason Greenwood not be that player? I believe that Mason Greenwood is a generational talent. And a generational talent is better than Rashford, is better than Martial, and has got the potential to be better than a Bruno. A generational talent is a player that, I believe that Lewandowski is a generational talent. He's a generational striker. They don't happen that often. So why can't Mason Greenwood be our, if you look at last summer and look at last season with Greenwood, bigger, fitter, faster, more productive when he got over his early season issues. What if he does that again? Because how old's Greenwood? Is he 19 or is he 20 now? I think Mason Greenwood can be our number 9. And I think Mason Greenwood will be playing at number 9 a lot this season. And I think in a year's time, United would like to go for Erling Haaland. But if Haaland's already gone to Chelsea, you can't get him. And if Kane's gone to Man City, you can't get him. So who is the striker that we're going to go for? Well, look, is there a world-class striker around next summer? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe it's Mason Greenwood. So I always think Mason Greenwood. And Mason Greenwood's 19. And Paul Robinson says he's not ready. He's not ready now, Paul. We're talking in a year. I agree. He's not ready now. But over the next season, I think that Cavani will probably play 60% of the games. Greenwood will get his chance. Martial might get his chance. But I think Mason Greenwood is going to be our number 9. And I think that we will bring another striker in who is going to be the understudy for Greenwood. And I think you go for an Isaac or someone like that. But I don't think we'll go... Maybe we will. Look, maybe Chelsea don't get Haaland and we get in the race. I think United have got no chance of getting Haaland this summer. But if Haaland stays at Dortmund, we might be able to get him next year. Because if we've got Varane and we've got Sancho and we keep Pogba, well, at the end of the day, Sancho and Haaland get on very, very well. Ollie and Haaland get on let's do it in numbers. Sancho and Haaland get on very well and have played together. Haaland and Ollie get on very, very well because Ollie nurtured him at Mulder. And if Pogba stays, that means United are getting on very well with Raiola, and Haaland's agent is Raiola. So maybe Erling Haaland will come to Manchester. And also, Haaland's got that release clause kicking in next year, hasn't he? So maybe Manchester United get Haaland next year, but I wouldn't sleep on that. I mean, I still expect Chelsea to go and get him because it's just the sort of thing that Chelsea do. Will Phil Jones make a comeback? #FreeJones, says Seth Willett. I think we will see Phil Jones in the pre-season games. And I'm looking forward to that. Remember that? I can't remember what game it was last season. There was a leaked team towards the end of the season that Phil Jones was going to play. It might have been Wolves. I was actually excited. There's something about Phil Jones. Something in the way he moves attracts me like no other player. But I've always said, it was Wolves, thanks everyone in the chat. I've always said with Phil Jones that I do want him to go, but I'd be very sad if he went. And I hope Phil Jones appreciates that most of it's mainly banter, isn't it? The pink boots, the funny faces, the last-ditch tackles with his head. It's like he's just funny in a world that's like, as we've seen over the last couple of days, can be quite nasty and toxic and abusive. I think Phil Jones is just a comedy act. And he probably doesn't want to be that, but everybody needs a bit of a clown, you know. And I'm not saying Phil Jones is a clown, but I quite like the idea of Phil Jones playing in Carabao Cup games, and I quite like the idea of watching. If I was Phil Jones, I'd embrace it. I'd turn out at the weekend in pink boots. I would. I'd just do it for the laugh, because he's earned good money. There's a lot of affection towards Phil Jones. I don't think anybody hates or dislikes Phil Jones. I think there has been players at United where people just can't stand them as footballers. Get out of my pub. But with Phil Jones, I think it is banter, and he does get ridiculed, but it is affectionate. I don't know whether that I'm helping him, but no, I when he was going to play in that games against Wolves, I was actually excited. I was. But he's got to give the number 4 up to Varane, definitely. If Fergie was United coach, he would start Donny and Ahmed ahead of Mata and James. That old man on this channel can manage this team if Mata and James are starting, says Aditya. Thank you for the super chat, Peter Donegan. Get your questions in. If you've joined in a little bit late, we have got an interview with Fabrizio Romano that is well worth watching. I did it about 3 hours ago. He did say on that interview that he was expecting an update in the next few hours. He's tweeted that update, and that update is that Manchester United are now in official talks with Real Madrid, and are waiting the final information from Real Madrid about what the price is going to be, and then a bid will go in. From Varane's side, he looks ready-made to come to Manchester United. Personal terms have always been no problem, and it's sounding very, very positive on that sense. After Varane, would there be another signing, says Marwin. I mean, Marwin, I tell you what, will there be another signing? And I think I've opened Pandora's box tonight, because when you say, is there going to be another signing, just look at the volume of players we've got. I mean, I'm sort of ruining this picture, because these players should really just be the 11, and then you can see that just the number of players that we've got at this club is just ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous how many players. Oh God, I've just got rid of Lindelof. Don't worry, Ollie, I've sold him. Don't know where Lindelof just disappeared. Then off, he's gone. Phil Jones, Twansebi, Tellez, Greenwood's another sub, Martial's another sub. So that would be your starting team, wouldn't it? Oh no, Phil, he needs to be there. You can go there. Lindelof, I don't know what he did. What did we do with Lindelof there? He just disappeared. Lindy, where are you, Lindy? There he is. I don't know where he is. Well, Lindelof's gone. But look, yeah, add Lindelof and add Henderson to that equation. And there's one in the corner again. Look, 27. Just a massive amount of players. And you think we're going to buy a midfielder? That is just a huge amount of players. All these players round the edge are subs, and they're senior subs. There's no young players there. There's no Diallo there. There's no Shoretire there. They're all young players. I haven't put the young players on. So you think we're going to buy a midfielder? And there's the problem. You know, there's just too much. Way too much. So I don't know after Varane if we're going to buy a new player, because we've got too much shit. Mark, you know, we could have... and when I say shit, I mean, like, you know, some of them are a bit shit, but there's just too much deadwood there. Mark, you know, we could have a full English front line, Greenwood, Rashford and Sancho, speed, clinical and creative, so excited at the prospects, as Chris Pankhurst. Well, if we'd bought Ben White, we could have had a full English back five, which actually scares me a little bit, but, you know. Have you tried getting Sir Alex on the show? Says Bradley. I don't think Sir Alex would suit this sort of content somehow. And if Varane signs, who do you give the captaincy to? Maguire, Bruno, or Varane? Maguire. You don't take the captaincy off Maguire now. I had my doubts a year ago. I'll hold my hands up. I wanted Bruno to be captain, but I think Maguire has grown into the role. And you know what? I don't regret any. Well, I do sometimes regret things I say, but I love it when people go back and find your tweets from a year ago and try and ridicule you, because I'm like, well, I meant that at the time, otherwise I wouldn't have bloody typed it, would I? I obviously meant that. Unless I was drunk or, you know, somebody's hacked my account, I will have meant it. And I remember a year ago, Harry Maguire was in trouble in Greece. I think he'd had a very bad end to that season where he was at fault for 2 goals against Sevilla in the Europa League final. And I just didn't really feel that the captaincy was suiting him, and I felt that his game was suffering because of it. So I wanted Bruno to be captain. I've got no problem. Retweet the tweets. So fucking what? It was a year ago. And you know, things change, don't they? So, but now, a year later, I wouldn't make that decision. And I know that Bruno's a fantastic player, and I think he's a fantastic leader. But I think Harry Maguire's grown into the role, and I wouldn't change it. So, you know, whether Varane's another leader or not, yes, he is. But I don't think he needs the captain's armband. Mark, any news on Calvin Phillips to Manchester United? Eugene, unfortunately for you, absolutely none. Absolutely none. I was drinking with a football agent last night, says Mike Carolan. He said Manchester United is Kane's first choice if he wants to leave Spurs. Hope you're well, Mark. What I would say about that is that I do think Harry Kane to Manchester United makes a lot of sense, and I do think Harry Kane would like to play for Manchester United. I just don't think Manchester United can and will do that, because I just don't think we've got the money to do it. I mean, the only thing that comes to my mind, and God, you'd have to produce a lot of money, is he give him £100 million and Anthony Martial. But the thing is, Anthony Martial's wages are more than Harry Kane at Spurs. So I just don't see that. Mario says he still questions Maguire's captaincy. I'll wait till the season is well underway with the new additions to judge him. Bruno is still deserved captain. And you know what? That's a fair point, because Maguire ended the season very well and he had a brilliant Euros, but it's what you do in a Manchester United shirt that counts, doesn't it? Next season's a big season for a lot of people. And I remember saying at the end of last season that I don't think Maguire started the season very well, but I think since Christmas he did well. But we still conceded a lot of set pieces. We were still, you know, centre-back partnership was one I didn't like. I can't, you know, just because I've seen Maguire playing with John Stones and liked it, doesn't mean I can't forget that Maguire and Lindelof I didn't like. So big season for Harry next season, especially if we get Varane. I expect him to have a very, very good thing. On Harry Kane, will Dominic Calvert-Lewin come to United, says Rohit? No, he'd be super expensive. What do you think about Manchester United upcoming season to be the best team ever, says Mrs. Gold 2021? Well, it sort of fits in with what I was going to say there. Would you take Harry Kane at Manchester United, by the way? Because I've got to be honest, if you are going to take Euros football and say, oh, Harry Maguire's one of the best centre-backs in the world, then I'd have to look at Harry Kane's performances for England and say that would really worry me. I'd be really worried. I don't know what was wrong with Harry Kane in the Euros, but God, he didn't look very good. I mean, against Italy, he was shit. Like, he wouldn't play the simple pass. He was trying to take people on. The weight of pass when he did pass was pretty poor. I wasn't impressed with Harry Kane in the Euros, but I was impressed with Maguire. But you could say, well, international football is very different. And of course, Harry Kane for Spurs last season was fantastic. I'll take Harry Kane Spurs. I wouldn't take Harry Kane England. And not for that money. You know, what worries me about Harry Kane is that if he can perform like that for England, it shows that he can have off games. And for 150 million quid, I also know that he gets injured a lot now. So for me, I wouldn't take Harry Kane. But I think, you know, only because I think the money could be spent elsewhere. If you're saying to me you can have Harry Kane for free, of course I'm going to do it. I'd take Danny Ings for free though. But I think Harry Kane's a fantastic striker. I just wouldn't want to spend the amount of money we'd have to spend on him. I'd rather it was spent elsewhere. Andrew Rossi says, as much as I would love to sign Kane, no way we get a deal done with Dortmund, Madrid and Spurs in the same market. That'd be amazing. I never thought of it like that, Andrew Rossi. Yeah, it would be amazing. Be interesting to see if we see Diallo as a false nine again. He was very good in that role against Wolves, says Mr. Gavin. Well, remember, in the case of Amad Diallo, he is going to the Olympics, so with Eric Bailly, so they won't be playing in any pre-season games because they will be on the Olympics. Mark, we nearly spend 175 to 200 million pounds every year in wages. This is an absolute joke, says Danish. Well, I'll show you this again, everybody. This is why our wage bill is so big. And none of those are young players. These are all senior pros. I mean, I don't know what Tuan Sebi's on. Delo must be on about, 40 grand a week. Matic will be on nearly 100. Fred will be on around 100. Jones is on 80. Bay will be on around 100. Van der Beek probably about 100. Juan Mata was on 140. Might have come down a bit now. Pereira maybe 50. Dan James maybe 70. Lingard 100. Tellez maybe 70, 80. I don't know what Greenwood's on. Martial's 250 grand, and they're not even in the starting 11. So obviously Henderson, he's on 140. Lindelof must be on about 100. Massive amount of money being spent on players that aren't even first teamers. So Yeah, and it always surprises me that we, as a club that's run like a business, that, you know, dithers and dallies around signings, we're absolutely terrible at just keeping players on massive wages and not using them. Kay says, for a bit of banter here, I'm still laughing at you calling Arsenal's documentary title All for Nothing. K-Flow, yeah, All for Nothing on Amazon Prime next year. You can watch it. I'm sure they've started filming now. Like, Martial never seems happy even when he scores, says David Page. Who? Kane? Harry Kane celebrates, doesn't he? Yeah. Camavinga is nearly off, apparently, says Ram. You know what? Would it surprise you if it's off? Would it surprise you if we're not going to buy Camavinga? Like, where does he fit in? We have got so much deadwood. And remember, I keep saying this, none of those are the young players. No Diallo there. No Shea Retire there. No Brandon Williams there. No James Garner there. That is senior pros on good wages. 26 of them. 26 of them. When you look at that, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't go for Camavinga. I'd like to get Camavinga because I think he's better than most of the players there, but I'd be nervous with United all or nothing, says Mario. I don't think United would ever do it, really. I don't think we would. I don't know why we don't clear the deadwood. I've got no idea. Please smash a like on the video, by the way, and make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Pereira will go. He will leave Splash, definitely. Pereira will go. But the thing is, it's not from that massive list of players. If Mata's not going, because he's not, and remember we've got Lee Grant, I haven't even added him in, and Tom Heaton. I mean, 4 goalkeepers, really. I just only picked 2. But if Mata's staying and Lingard's been offered a new contract, Pereira, I think, will go, and maybe Delo, but that still gives you 24. So, you know, you need to remove 6, not 2. Do you think Ollie will still play McTominay and Fred with Varane at the back? Also, will he free Wan-Bissaka to do the back post marking, says Abanaf. I think we'll see a lot of McTominay and Fred next season. Yeah, I think Ollie picks them because he likes them. So I think that he will still pick them a lot, yeah. So, but we need to remove about 8, says Matt Hunt. Why can't United offer Lingard to Villa for Grealish? Also, PM announced Italy could be stripped of their Euro title, says Martin Albert. Martin, why are you trolling people? There's absolutely no... Why would Italy get stripped of their Euro title? They've not done anything. I reckon Camavinga will run his contract down, unfortunately, just like Pogba, says Danish. And maybe they're keeping Lingard and selling Van der Beek because of greater market value. So I tell you what. If we let... I mean, that is a great point. If we let... imagine if we give Jesse Lingard a new contract and we let Donny van der Beek go. Now, taking away pure emotion and just looking at it in the way I'm going to look at it, I would say this. How can you give somebody a new contract that you didn't pick at all last year and you sent to West Ham, who has been at the club for many years and has never established themselves as first team quality? How can you keep him and give him a contract, but then get rid of a player that has not even been here a year, you've underused, but when you have used them, they've done well, and in the last Premier League game, he was man of the match? How could you do that? Why would you do it, and how could you do it? And like Nick Knack says, I'd be bloody fuming, because it makes no sense. You keep somebody who's had their chance and had years of chances, and you get rid of somebody who you hardly used, but when you did do, was clearly top quality. It would make no sense to me. But I tell you what, we will have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Apparently, Jadon Sancho is doing his filming for his interview, according to MUFC MPB. It'll be interesting when that gets in. I mean, obviously, we'll go live when that happens because it's always great to talk about what Sancho has said and see him in the pictures and everything like that. But I think it'll be tomorrow, and I think it'll be the number 7 shirt, because the promo and everything like that is going to be absolutely huge, as we know. So, yeah, it'd be big. But no, I'd be absolutely fuming if we let Van der Beek go, full stop. But if we let him go and kept people like Mata and Lingard, I'd be like, oh my God. What could that mean? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But it's not, in the conversations I've had with Romano, and you've seen them, it's not like it's absolutely... definite, is it? So, you know. Sancho interview has just been filmed. Announcement soon. Kit launch scheduled for Thursday. Well, we know that the kit news is coming in on Thursday. Fabrizio Romano. Let's see if I've had a message. Timings. Well, yeah, people have just said. Here's a quote from Fabrizio Romano I wanted to bring in that I'd forgotten about. Could Varane be using Manchester United for a new contract? No, he wants to try something new. That was what Romano said. And, he said that to us a few times as well. I've just had a message here. Well, come on. Let me just ask them. Super chat. Why would we even consider letting Van der Beek go when Pogba may leave? Worst move ever. The thing about Donny Van der Beek for me is that, and I've said this a few times, this summer from so many different sources we keep hearing about Donny Van der Beek leaving. There's no smoke without fire. For some reason I think United are looking to get rid of him, and I don't understand why. I really don't, but hopefully it's not going to happen. He deserves a second season. Someone said before, Sancho playing a violin to Scott Cater. We don't want no violins. We don't want any weapon. We don't anything like that. I think United will do a Sancho. If I remember, if I've got this right, I think Manchester United's Sancho reveal will be Jadon Sancho walking round Legoland in a big pair of wellies and a big Barber jacket with a flat cap on, smoking a pipe, listening to Queen Greatest Hits. I really think that's going to happen. Walking around Legoland, admiring some Lego. I think that's what it's all. That's going to be the theme, and then there'll be a big number 7 made out of Lego. I'm joking. I think that Sancho will have some sort of street soccer thing going on, and I think that we might see a big UK scene artist, maybe H or Stormzy or Santan Dave, someone like that. Street soccer, yeah. I think they'll go for that sort of vibe, yeah. And why they did Alexis Sanchez with a piano, I'll never know. But I think he'll be wearing the number 7 shirt as well, because I think that this is for Manchester United. They've had people coming on the pitch. They've had people protesting. This signing is a massive signing on the pitch, but it's a massive, massive, massive PR stunt for United, and they'd be stupid not to turn it into that. This is about spinning a positive away from the negativity of the Super League, remember, and the Glazers' ownership, remember. So this is about, and they need to sell shirts as well. So Sancho is going to be used. For me, Sancho's exciting because he's a player that's going to make us better. But for Manchester United, I feel that Sancho is being used as a way to sell shirts and spin positivity away from the negativity that's been around the Glazers. So expect something really big. Next year, we're at risk of losing Pogba, Van der Beek. Mata will retire, so will Matic. We won't have Lingard by then. Business by United is abysmal, says Christian Lin. Chris Pranker says, I'm still Glazers out. I'd be disappointed if anybody wasn't Glazers out. Not because they're not having a good summer, but because they've been here 16 years. And I think that they've drained the club in more ways than one. And buying a couple of players shouldn't make you change your mind about that. Marketability and a marquee signing. They needed it. They did need it. If I was signing for United, what would I have? Probably me in a big snowy country like Iceland, running away from a polar bear. Don't know why I said that. He's not been announced properly yet, Jadon Sancho. I believe he's basically done his medical today, Lynn, and he needs to go on holiday. So what they will do is they'll have They'll do the medical, which they've done. United have done medicals in the day and then all the photos and had it out by 8 o'clock at night. They could announce it tonight. But they could. I think they will announce it tomorrow, and it'll be the number 7 shirt. So yeah, that's what I expect to happen with that. But he will do. Lost my chain of thought there. He will do his medical, then he'll do all the photos, then he'll do all the interviews, and he's also got to film the promo as well. So I don't know what time tomorrow. Presuming it's going to be tomorrow, I've heard United announce it at midday. 6 o'clock is always a good time. They seem to like 6 o'clock a lot. But I've seen them do it at midday. I think they've done it at 8 o'clock in the morning before. I think they've announced it in the early hours as well. Remember, we've got fans worldwide. So maximum impact is 5 o'clock. That's your maximum impact. But so I would expect that. But I think it will be tomorrow. Donny and David De Gea need to stay. Why keep Jones, Mata, Matic, Lingard, etc. and expect to catch City? United need quality, not quantity and depth, says Oscar Nagari. And yeah, just to go back to this as well. If I was to have my way, as I said before, Tellez obviously stays as the backup. I don't mind Delo because you can save a bit of money. I'd have I've lost Lindelof, but I'd have Lindelof and Maguire and then Twansebi and him. Look, I'm going to have to go with Fred and McTominay there. I'd have Pogba and Van der Beek there. I would not have Mata here. I would not have Pereira here. I would not have Dan James here. I'd have Ahmad as the number 7 backup. I'd have Greenwood as the backup striker and Martial as the backup player there. So Lingard would go, Dan James would go, Pereira would go, Mata would go, Bailly would go, Jones would go, and Matic would go. They'd all be gone. Those 7 players at the bottom I would get rid of because, and people will say you need them for the bench. You're being thick. I've just doubled up on the team players there. Everyone's got a backup player there. That's your bench. Those 7 players don't need to be at this club. Obviously, Henderson and De Gea are your 2 goalkeepers, and every other position you've got a backup. Obviously, Lindelof I'd used to have, but I've lost him somewhere. But Lindelof would be the backup. There's 2 players in every position, and then you've got young players to supplement that. So we've got 7 players: Matic, Jones, Bailly, Mata, Pereira, James, Lingard. We don't need them. 7 players. 100 grand a week for Lingard. Maybe 70 for Dan James, maybe maybe another 70 for Pereira. What's that? 140, 280. Let's say Mata's on 100 now. He's had a pay cut, 340. Let's say he's on 440. Bailly. Jones is on about 80, so that's 500. Matic, about 600 grand a week there on 7 players that you don't need. Can't remove the deadwood. It's not even a Solskjaer. It's nothing to do with Solskjaer, by the way. We've never been able to remove the deadwood. I remember talking about the deadwood when Moyes was here. Donny and we've done that one from Oscar and Mark. Signing for United would come on to relight my fire by Take That, says Nick P. And Mark, do you think Rashford will start off the new season on smoke? Love from South Africa, says CT. I think that. Oh, sorry, Bruno back up. Let me just go back. Bruno back up. Ideally, Pogba or Van der Beek, and you bring Camavinga in. That's what I would do there, because I'm not happy with that midfield still. I still think we need another midfielder. Or you can keep Matic, but the reality is the Bruno backup is Mata because he's staying. So that's the backup. It is actually Mata. But and don't anybody say to me, well, Mata can't play 30 games a season. Well, what's he bloody here for then? He's got to be the backup for Bruno, hasn't he? So Mata's the backup for Bruno because he's staying, isn't he? Those 6 need to go. But I would like Pogba or Van der Beek to be the backup for Bruno, and then you bring Camavinga in. Or you could have Show Retiro or something like that. Yeah. As an American, I'm embarrassed by what the Glazers have done to the club. I will never support them no matter who they sign. They don't deserve this club, says Andrew Rossi. That's a Paul Pogba contract on the bench, says Jacob Hawkes. And so going back to that question from CT, do I think Rashford will start the season on fire? Mate, am I the only one that thinks Rashford shouldn't even start the season? The last thing Marcus Rashford needs to do, after all the shit he's had to go through, is start that season with another injury. He said a few weeks ago, I've not been right all season. He's under a lot of pressure. He's had a lot of unfair shit. And not just the England stuff. He's had a lot of shit going on with United as well. He cannot start the season in 4 weeks' time. He needs to have the operation and he needs to have the recuperation. I think if Rashford starts his season after the international break, which is... There's only 3 Premier League games. I don't know whether anyone's noticed this. In August, we start off with Leeds. We play 2 other games and then there's an international break. For me, Marcus Rashford should come back after the international break, which means he doesn't have to start playing football again until mid-September. That break would be perfect for him. Perfect. But, you know, it's not on Marcus. Marcus will be wanting to play football tomorrow. It's on Ollie to say, get the operation, get the rest, come back in mid-September. Well, but I want to play for England. Well, if you want to go and play for England, let's see if you get called up, because I'm not picking you those first 3 games. I need you to get the rest and recuperation that you need. Will he do it? I don't know. Great math work. I wonder if bankers can do that, says Mario. Well, anyway, look, I've really enjoyed the show tonight. I hope you've all had a fantastic show. I certainly have. Please smash a like on the video and subscribe. We will be doing a video tomorrow at some point for Sancho's announcement. Looking forward to his comments. Medical's been done today. Official talks going on with Real Madrid as well. So that Varane deal could move quite quickly now. Could be another couple of weeks. 5 p.m. BST is midday in New York. They will probably announce Sancho between 3 and 5 to maximise impact on our share prices. G-back. Yes, we do a lot of 6 o'clock ones as well. So maybe 6 o'clock might be a good time as well. But I do think it will be tomorrow tea time with Sancho. And then you'll all be buying the shirt, won't you? Cynical, aren't I? But United, they're businessmen. They might not be brilliant at some business, but they're spot on when it comes to pleasing sponsors and selling shirts. So, yeah, they were always going to do this. Somebody said it on Twitter today. Breezy said it on Twitter today. Goldbridge was right, because I called this at the start of June. They'll announce Sancho with the new kit. It was always going to be that way. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a fantastic evening, day, or whatever you're doing. And I'll see you in the morning for the 10 o'clock show. And of course, we will be announcing Sancho tomorrow at some point. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Why is my mouse not working now? Oh, it's going to be a hard show to stop. It's not going to stop. It needs to go up a little bit more. There we go.